The original Bioshock holds a very special place in my heart. It was the first first-person shooter I completed all the way through and the first M-rated game I owned. Everything from the foreboding atmosphere to the intense shooting truly rung out as a one-of-a-kind experience. When the second sequel came around, I was of course eager to play it for myself. When I first cleared this game years ago on the 360, I couldn't put it down. Everything from the story to the visuals was like anything I have ever played before. All of those feelings sat in my conscience, haunting me to replay it again. With a copy of PlayStation 4's Bioshock collection, I thought I would go visit the famous city of Columbia once more. First, let's talk about the positives. Thanks to the up-resing of the new console, the visuals are as striking as ever. The art direction still holds strong to this day, capturing a truly inspiring world to get lost in. If anything, the journey through this game was worth it to see the ins and outs of the floating city. Another aspect I remembered was the story and the narrative it wove. The way the characters speak and the situations they're put in are quite unique. However, near the halfway mark, the story takes a turn towards over-ambitious. Switching from relatively grounded to science fiction is a very giant hoop to jump through. But the biggest issue comes from the core gameplay of this quest. The shooting isn't nearly as engaging from other games of its type. The typical types of guns keep the moment-to-moment trappings flat. The secondary attacks are uninteresting until late into the game. The mini-bosses are just boring bullet sponges that take way too long to kill. By the time the game reaches its conclusion, I just felt exhausted from the constant shooting gallery loop. There is little variety in the relatively short duration of this virtual adventure. There is nothing that breaks up the monotony of the constant murder. In the end, my experience with Bioshock Infinite was not as pleasant as I remember. The final thoughts were just, I don't want to do more of the same thing. Repetition is the biggest flaw here, and it's unfortunate I couldn't enjoy the story and visuals. I honestly wish that this was the game that stayed in my memory as a wonderful experience that I remembered. I think it's time to tackle a game that's nothing but story. Going closer to modern times will help me discover something relatively relevant. While it was widely discussed on its initial release, it has quickly fallen into obscurity. I think playing it for this show will help me formulate my opinion on this visual novel.